What's good, YouTube? Full ass speaks back for another video. I don't typically comment on LeBron James that much, but I kind of wanted to because I think there's a greater lesson or teaching moment that could be uh, pointed out in this particular last spat he had with Stephen A. Smith. So apparently, LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith had a spat on the sideline at one of the games, and it was Stephen A. Smith who just went on his podcast and explained what had happened. So it was related to LeBron James' son, Bronny James, and LeBron feeling as though Stephen A. Smith had said some things about his son that he didn't like. I don't know if it's criticism about his game. I'm not quite sure what it is, but I'm assuming based on me listening to Stephen A. Smith over the years, I don't recall Stephen A. Smith ever really getting personal about players. So I'm assuming it has to do with his game in some sort of way. So obviously, then when LeBron James says, "Yo, man, don't F with me about my son. Don't F with me about my son," something like that. Stephen A. Smith was, what you talking about? No, I'm playing, I'm not playing with you. Don't F with me about my son, right? And I'll say this. I believe LeBron James did in this moment what he felt was right. Like I don't doubt that. I think he believes that this is how a parent is supposed to protect their child. You know, um, and I understand that, right? But this is a greater thing. Like even in the black community, or and I'm going to speak from that standpoint because LeBron is black and so is those who raised him. So am I. That's what I'm most familiar with, right? I can't really speak on a lot of other communities. But if you look at the way LeBron kind of did that, it's more so reflective on how he perceives parents are supposed to raise and protect their children. And I speak as a father. I have a number of children myself, and so on. And you learn that you take care of them first monetarily and those types of things. That's number one. Without a doubt, LeBron has done that a million times over. He handles that part of it. But then there's also the other part, right? When you're raising a child, you're not only raising like a physical body that you're feeding and clothing and housing and giving comfort to. You're also raising a brain and you're also raising a soul. Okay? So you provide, make sure your child is educated. No doubt in my mind, LeBron has done a sufficient amount of that, I guess. You know, I understand that children athletes don't always get the best education, really. They don't focus on it, never felt like they need it, but whatever. I'm assuming his son is not a moron completely. You know, I don't know. But then there's the other part, man. This is like where you're raising a soul. And that is really the building blocks of the person's character, what type of individual they'll be, on earth. Meaning, are you raising a kid that's going to be mature? Are you raising a kid that's going to have character, that's going to be upright, that's going to be stand up, that's going to be honest, that's going to be honorable, and all of the different characteristics that you have? Or are you raising a spoiled brat? This is where that comes in at, right? This is why like parents don't always give kids what they want all the time, how they want it, and step in and protect them all the time. Like for example, like growing up, when I would go out, and this was from my mother and then definitely my father and so on. You go out on the street and you come back crying, saying, the boy on the block, he said something to me, or he hit me. It was nothing for my parents to be like, all right, so what the hell you standing here for? Did you hit him back? Take your behind out there and come back after you went and you hit that boy back. And this is for a reason. A parent is not only there to take care of you, feed you, clothe you, the things we mentioned, but the parent also has to prepare the child for the real world, for the real world. And I think sometimes this is lost in some modern day parents. And here, because of this happening, I gotta kind of include him in that. What LeBron has to understand is there's going to be a time where you're dead. You're not going to be here. That goes for me. That goes for you. Goes for whoever. Your parent's not going to always be there. You know, what happens? What is that child going to be? What will he have? Because now he's a man. What will he be once you're gone? It's obvious LeBron's mother probably did that with him. As we know, LeBron, he was raised without a father for the most part. He was raised in a single parent home. And this is why it's important to have the mother and the father present, because the mother and the father, they provide different things. Typically, it's usually the way it works. There's always exceptions, so please don't come in the comment section and say, well, I was raised by mom and blah, blah, blah. All right. But typically, mothers provide the nurturing aspect, the emotional support that a kid needs. Okay? Now, LeBron being raised by just a mother, he probably received that in his life, the emotional support and so on. So in his mind, it registers that this is how you are with your kid. Whereas a father is a little different. A father might step back and be like, stop the mother. Because a lot of times, and I've seen this before, a kid might be outside, they have a issue with another kid who's their size, or a kid that's trying to bully them and all that. And the mother's instinct might be to go out there, you know, just out of to protect the child. And they might want to go beat up the other kid and so on, right? Whereas the father is like, nah, we'll step back, let the boy learn, let the boy get his lumps. This is traditionally the approach fathers had, and it's more so in line with what's natural, all right? But if you didn't have a father who did that for you, and you only had a mother, in your mind, you may believe like the way your mother raised you is the way you need to raise your children. And I think this is what's happening here in this situation. Okay, I think what LeBron is doing is he's doing what he knows how to do, what he thinks is best how to do. But the question is that best for his son? I don't know. I don't know these people. None of my business ultimately. But I think these are teaching moments for the rest of our community. Most of us, you and I, we ain't gonna have billions and millions and all of that kind of stuff to be, you know, spoiled like these kids. But when you're raising yours, you gotta realize, besides offering them the protection and the shelter, you gotta prepare these kids for the world, man. And that ain't the best way to prepare them for the world. There's going to be a time when LeBron James is retired. And assuming Bronny James makes it, which he might not, assuming that he makes it, he's going to be faced with criticism every night, just like he was, just like everyone else is. And, I mean, does he think it's realistic that he's going to be able to just attack everyone that has something to say? Is that really what he thinks? And this is where LeBron critics, this is where he gives them power to do that. Because there's a lot of guys that are probably going to come on YouTube who really flat out don't like LeBron and would just straight up say that LeBron is just an entitled, you know, self-centered, egotistical, narcissistic punk who thinks that he's above reproach and who thinks he can go do whatever he wants. There's a lot of people who view LeBron James that way. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying I don't personally go that far oftentimes because I don't concern myself with LeBron enough to even think that deeply about things. So that's why, like, I haven't really done that on my channel. But I tell you what, I understand why people who say these things about him say it, because this right here to me, bro, just really was not a good look. It's really not a good look, man. His son now is in the world of men, and his son is going to deal with men. And it's not realistic to think that it's on you to constantly just be there and defend him in every single situation, man. That ain't best. That's probably not best for him. He's always going to think, man, all right, my dad got it all the time. And well, I mean, this is why some rich people, and this is a thing with rich people over the years, a lot of rich people, I think even Donald Trump, not even sure. With Donald Trump, yeah, but even Donald Trump, he made his daughter like Ivanka. I'm sure she was, to a degree, spoiled and all of that, of course. But he made her go to, Wharton Business School and actually get a degree, get a business degree. Shaq, look at the way Shaq raises his children, for example. He tells them, this is my money, not yours. I'll give you money once you show me initiative. Right? So it's more than likely his kids, might turn out just a little different and better, Of course, you're going to take care of them. But, like, what type of character are you building in your son? What type of man is he going to be? And then that's the difference. And that I'll point out, if you look at a Shaq, though Shaq didn't have his maternal father there, he had a stepfather whom he respected, who provided that. The father has to provide that structure and prepare the kids, prepare the sons in particular too, to be men who go out and provide structure. Who not living and off of their emotions and acting and leading with their emotions all the time. Because he knows the world doesn't care about your little emotions, man. That might work in your house, but once you go out in the world and you got to survive amongst men, that right there is not going to work. So, in my opinion, and, that's not a good look for LeBron there. And it's not a good look for his son. And I think, when we move forward and we look at how we should be raising our kids, we should look to, if you need examples, look to examples from others, the way Shaq is doing it. Look at Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, for example. These were two guys who had fathers in their lives. Now, one could criticize what happened with Kobe and his parents a little later if you want, but the point is, these were two men that were raised, mother and father, fathers active in their lives. Jordan, the military father, Kobe, father who played the game, active in their lives. And you can kind of see the difference in their mentality and their mindset in Michael Jordan, right? As compared to, hate to say about how LeBron is. Some of the stuff you find in games, I think, is rooted in how he was raised, being raised by just a woman. And I'm sure his mother did a good job, but she can only do the best she could do, the best she knows how. And the same thing even with Allen Iverson, for example. Allen Iverson had a lot of ways about him that I think may have been different had his father been present, And I'm not gonna go deeply into it, but these are real things, man. And I don't know, man. Just let me know what y'all think about the situation, man. Am I tripping, or we on to something here? But I know I wasn't feeling that whole exchange with LeBron. That's just something about that, man. So just let me know what y'all think.